is going to be a demo kind of session where we are going to understand the insight of Ariba, what are the opportunities as part of the career going ahead, like if you want to opt for SAP Ariba as your career, so what are the advantages you are going to have it, and what are the career perspectives and everything, you are going to have a clear understanding. And also the functionalities of SAP Ariba, we are going to go through it. And regarding us, we are one of the very prominent training and development company we are operating since more than 15 years in the market. Majorly we are dealing with SAP projects, okay, SAP clouds projects, non-cloud on-premise projects, and also we do have the training wing where we are going to have a complete end-to-end training. Okay, this is going to be is not a kind of overview training. We are going to cover everything in detail, with practicality and project exposure, in the sense project scenarios we are going to discuss, and also we are going to give a lot of project documentations which will be really helpful for every one of you to go ahead and onboard. If you are getting onboarded in any project, that's really going to be very helpful for you guys. So this is just a brief about the training, and also we'll be getting a lot of training material. The sessions which you are attending are also going to be recorded, so these recordings also be part of your learning going ahead, and these recordings going to be the will be there with you lifelong. Okay, so these all the brief this one, and we do have Manish with us. So Manish is having more than 17 years of experience. Okay, he's having a great experience right from procurement, domain experience, and also he worked in SRM. Right now he's working in SAP Ariba as a solution architect. Okay, he's a very experienced guy. He has done numerous implementation and rollout projects. So I can say this is going to be one of the very uh, in-depth kind of training and detail oriented training with respect to the subject and the project implementation perspective. So Manish, over to you. We can have, and guys, we are going to have this session for the next 2.5 hours. We really want everyone to be very actively participate here. You ask any sort of questions, we'll be very happy to answer them. So Manish, over to you. You can, I'll be on mute then. Thank you.
Okay, no worries. Thank you, Iraj. Thanks for the quick intro and thanks everybody who has joined. Uh, so let's kick started. This is Manish, okay, and I will be part of your training curriculum for the SAP Ariba. And as Iraj mentioned, I carry a more than 15 17 years of experience in SAP Ariba plus and even I started the career with ABAP and then trained with Ariba so I have very exhaustive experience. So I'm part of the training from last almost 5 to 6 years. So I'm associated with Iraj and the team from last few years. So we'll get started. And first and foremost, I want you guys to get a very quick introduction about your background, like from where, because for me it will be easy for you to get quickly interacted. And let's like to know about your background. Like, are you aware of some procurement basics, or like what you are hailing from? So I will just give the floor wide open. Who wants to just give me quick introduction about yourself? Let's start with Mukesh.
Hi, Manish. I'm Mukesh. I have total 16 and a half years of experience. Currently, I'm into a project manager role, working with the leading logistics company. And I wanted to actually learn SAP Ariba from scratch. So I do not have much knowledge about the procurement and all. I have a basic knowledge, but not too much. So I just wanted to start my career on SAP Ariba.
Okay.
Thank you.
And I guess Mukesh, you are in some European country, right? So you want to
Yeah,
know if
I'm currently in Belgium actually. So currently it is 2:30 here. So that's the reason I took this weekend batch in the evening so that I can actually continue the learning.
thank you, Mukesh. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Viraj.
Yeah,
Thanks, Manish.
yeah. Sure.
Yeah. Next, I can see Brahmanda.
Uh, Hi Manish, hi Raj, hi everyone. So Brahma here. I have almost 4+ years of experience in master data and Ariba SLP actually, where I have worked as a end users most of the time. So I just wanted to enhance my skills and move up in my so that I can be a full-fledged consultant in the future.
Okay. 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 So guys, thanks
Brahma
for
is from
joining.
Bangalore, I
Yeah.
guess, right? You are from Bangalore, right,
Uh,
Brahma?
no,
Yeah,
I
you have.
was in Pune, but I just traveled back my hometown this last
Oh,
week.
okay.
I mean, just
Yeah.
reached yesterday.
Ah, okay, great. So I will meet here. We are based in Pune only. Yeah, great.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah. So we do have Shobha with us.
Yes. Hi all. I am Shobha from Bangalore. I have 4+ years of experience in material management, and procurement is very new to me. For career growth, I have joined this course.
Okay, okay. Thanks for joining in. Okay, so let's get started, with our like for
I think
next two
Manish.
hours. Yeah,
Sorry. Yeah, I think sorry.
started, quickly. I'll just brief you the agenda, for the what will be the for next few hours. Okay, the first and foremost, the introduction. Okay, what is Ariba, and like the basics of Ariba, will touch base on that. And then why Ariba? Because in market there are numerous products or numerous competitor of Ariba, right? So we'll have a quick kind of a comparison between why Ariba and the other products, and what are the competitors of Ariba. Okay, and then we'll also try to focus what are different module of Ariba, because it's not a very comprehensive, straightforward, different SAP. If you just think of SAP MM, there is also very sub modules within that, right? Within FICO there are sub modules, right? Within Ariba we have many sub modules, right? So we'll try to touch base what are the core modules and what is the advanced module. Okay, so then we'll try to just see very quick delivery methodology, how Ariba projects, for a greenfield implementation, how Ariba projects are deployed or how it is delivered. Okay, and we'll try to see a quick process flow, like quick kind of a project end to end, what all, from where it gets started, from where it is ending. So that is the process flow we are trying to say. And we'll also try to give you a screen level of walkthrough, like a very quick walkthrough, like the dashboard of Ariba, how it looks like, what are the different setting or parameter we can play around. So all those we'll try to cover, and if any question and answer are there, the we are the this particular forum is free to ask question at any of the time. So even if you can hold your question for the last, that is also fine with us. Okay, so let's get started. The introduction of SAP Ariba. First and foremost, this is a cloud-based procurement platform. Okay, so you might be aware, just think from your e-commerce portal, right, or wherever you might want to purchase anything, right? Let it be your normal goods or normal material, right, or let it be your own household product. Okay, so you may be aware that there is Amazon, right? So in India we have Flipkart, right? So there can be n number of websites, right? So similarly, for B2B or business to business procurement related, there is a platform called SAP Ariba. Okay, within SAP Ariba we have, actually this product is based on cloud, and it is also the product owned by SAP, which is a SaaS product, software as a service. Okay, so there is a subscription based model for SAP Ariba for the whoever is a big organization or whoever they want to subscribe to Ariba. It's a subscription based pricing model. Okay, so that is how it is. And first and foremost, again, if you go with the significance of SAP Ariba as a tool or as a platform, it helps you to connect the buyer and the supplier globally to conduct their business transaction efficiently. So, what are business transaction? You can think of purchase order, right? You can think of order confirmation, or you can think of advance ship notice, or you can think of your goods receipt, you can think of your invoices. So, right, all those in the primitive, few, apart from Ariba there are multiple ways to communicate, right? It can be like primitive ways of email, or printing of the PDF and sending it via either via fax or via courier, right? So that can be n number of way, right? But coming Ariba in the picture, there is a platform which is built as a kind of a portal where Ariba buyer will have their own account, and again supplier will have their own account, just like a Facebook you can think of. Okay, so two parties will have their own account. They will try to connect as a friend, right? Similarly in Ariba we have a concept of trading relationship request, TRR. So that trading relationship request is, can be initiated from either of the party. So if those are accepted from, like, from buyer and supplier, they can transact their business transaction, okay, efficiently and seamlessly. Okay, the core purpose of the Ariba, when they have, launched this product, was like just to streamline source to pay process. But like many decade, like almost 2 decades has passed by. Okay, so now the scale of, if you just think, 6 million companies are connected, across on the network. Okay, and the transaction value which is cruising is around $4.5 trillion annually. This, like, this volume of what you say, the transactions is happening on the network. Okay, so again, global reach, if you just see Ariba, network is actually many different organization across countries, like across globe, you can say 190 plus country are supported, or 190 plus countries supplier or buyer is all located on Ariba network. So such a massive and huge, the global outreach is there. If I just take back one step, and try to give you the acquisition story or the SAP Ariba history, first and foremost, the foundation. In 1996, Ariba was founded. Okay, it was started as a B2B e-commerce pioneer. Basically, B2B is like business to business, right? Just like you can think of Amazon, or like a different kind of e-commerce portal which is dedicated for business to business transaction. Ariba is like B2C, right? Usually, business to consumer. Even Amazon business is there, B2B. So similarly, Ariba is there, where we have, e-commerce pioneer. So SAP has acquired Ariba as a, like, largest acquisition in their history, for, because at that time SRM was there, right? So uh, to roll off the, not to roll off, but just to move their strategy to the cloud product, as SAP was a cloud product from the, very initial days. So in 2012, SAP acquired Ariba, and they have acquired Ariba in 4.3 billion, they have purchased it for. And then the integration channel began in 2014. Okay, so the integration was very important because SAP ecosystem is a very native and very, it is connected within their own platform across like FIMM, basis, security, ABAP, right? Everything is in their own servers, but Ariba is like still in a different world altogether, right? So SAP tried to, build the product and try to do all the integration back in 2014. Okay, and the many, like, we had many interaction channels or the integration medium to have, like, SAP Ariba plus SAP ecosystem. And it is again evolving, everlasting. It is still getting, getting so many fine tuning is happening. So then in 2021, they have rebranded SAP Ariba, or like you can think of Ariba Network. That renaming or rebranding happened as SAP Business Network. Earlier we used to call it Ariba Network. Okay, that platform where buyer and supplier will have their own credential, right? So that platform was called Ariba Network. So it got rebranded as SAP Business Network. Why it was rebranded? Because earlier there were three different, what to say, a different network called Logistic Business Network, right? Asset Business Network and Ariba Network. So those three got remerged and rebranded as a unified model that is called SAP Business Network. Right now we are in 2026, right? Now this is the era of next gen SAP Ariba. Right, in today's world of chat GPT and Claude and other, new models are coming for, AI, right? Similarly, Ariba, or basically SAP, is having their own product called Joule, right? So that is AI. So similarly, Ariba is also trying to evolve. There is a new product launching happen, next gen SAP Ariba, that is still getting, launched, and this quarter and, subsequent quarter is very important for SAP Ariba for this product, as it's a very nascent product. Okay, like Again, the ecosystem of is next gen Ariba will be like AI native fully. Okay, it will be built on SAP BTP, like business technology platform, which is a core infrastructure or a core platform for across all the SAP module going forward. Okay, so if any new customer is getting onboarded on SAP Ariba, they may get the license of next gen SAP Ariba. Okay, so moving on, I will take a pause. If you have any question or any doubts as of now, just do let me know. Okay. If not, let's see.
Manish, I
Yeah, go
think
ahead.
we have Naveen and Tawfiq. Naveen, if you want to get a brief about you, you can discuss. Otherwise, we can continue.
No,
And Tawfiq, you can just tell about
no,
yourself
no,
if
no.
you
You
want.
can
Yeah,
go ahead.
we can. Yeah, yeah. Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. No worries. Thank you. Thank you for joining in. Okay. So we have just started. Okay. I just brief about what Ariba is and what are the different like the acquisition story of the Ariba. So moving on, what are different module of SAP Ariba? Okay, first and foremost, you can bifurcate Ariba in the three stream. One is called upstream. Okay, what you see the left box, basically, this is called the upstream Ariba, and this is called the right hand side. You can see the downstream Ariba. Though I have not written the word to explicitly call it out, but many consultant or many guys they still in the interview they will ask like what is upstream and downstream. There is no word as such written in the what to say in the any of the documentation official documentation, but still customer or you kind of other consultant will try to say upstream and downstream. So whatever SAP Ariba sourcing and analytics and their core modules, for example SAP Ariba sourcing, it is one standalone module. Okay, similarly we have Ariba contracts, again it's a standalone module. Similarly, we have supplier lifecycle and performance. We called SLP. Okay. So and then we have Ariba risk. Okay. And the other is Ariba spend analysis. This all collectively is called upstream. SAP Ariba upstream. Okay. And then there is a in the right hand side, if you see, for managing all your P2P per se, for example, like starting for purchase requisition till the payment. Okay, we have a dedicated module called SAP Ariba buying and invoicing. If customer just want to go with P2R, basically creation of purchase requisition, purchase order, and just receiving, right? Then we have SAP Ariba buying. They do not want to subscribe for invoicing, so they may not pay the extra fees or the extra licensing, right? So they again Ariba is slightly flexible over there, and SAP Ariba buying can be given to them. Similarly, we have SAP Ariba invoice management. If the customer always or only want to have invoice management, so they can standalone subscribe for this. Okay, during purchase request or
Manish,
yeah,
hi, this is Tawfiq here. Sorry to interrupt you, Manish.
yeah, good.
Yeah, I have a question regarding this SAP Ariba invoice management. There is also a module, I don't know, or a concept, which is VIM, vendor invoice management. Is it also a standalone module
It is an
or it's a
open
part of
text.
invoice management?
Actually, it's a part of SAP. Okay, and open text. Open text is you might have heard of, right? Vim.
Yes,
First
yes.
of all, yeah, vendor invoice management is a again dedicated module for
Okay,
open text, and that too SAP has acquired it. Okay,
okay,
so that is
okay,
not at all a part of Ariba.
okay.
Usually,
It's core technical.
yeah, it scores slightly more on the MM. It sits on your landscape of SAP MM or basically your S4 HANA. Okay,
Okay,
yeah, there are many decode for slash opt slash, right? So there we have
okay,
all the open text, so that is Vim. So there is no linkage between Ariba is just the ingestion medium for the Vim, because Vim may have OCR capacity, right? Many email capacity, the PDF, everything, right? But again, that's this whole different module altogether. Ariba is just a medium of invoice for them.
okay,
Okay, and even in Ariba, if you see the last portion, Ariba invoice conversion services. Okay, or we called
okay.
open invoice convert.
Invoice
This is
conversion.
very, very. OCR capacity, and of Ariba, they have their own server, they have their own service provider who will scan the copy and then it will flow as a CXML to Ariba network. Okay, the
Okay.
Vim is slightly different topic. Okay,
Okay. Okay. No, actually, I'm new to SAP Ariba,
no
so
worries.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, it is getting evolved, right? Again, Ariba is also one module called central invoice management. Okay, that is also getting rolled off in 2 years. So there are many things coming in, coming, it is also going out. So Ariba, and in short, SAP is also getting evolving. Okay, because today is a like mass disruption is happening across the industry, right? Like the way AI is coming in, right? So we need to be one step ahead. You getting a point? So there are many modules
Yeah,
in the
true,
market.
true.
Yeah, yeah. So this is the, in short, whatever the operational procurement, right? P2P module we can think of, those are called downstream or operational procurement in short. Now, how to both the parties are actually connected, or you can think as a standalone called SAP Business Network, or we used to call like few years back Ariba Network. Okay, so here also this is a platform where actual transaction happen. Your supplier and buyer will collaborate. Okay, so there is separate module over there for only S4 HANA. For example, if your customer is for direct material or direct procurement, they will opt for commerce automation. All your S4 HANA PO will directly get initiated in S4 HANA, and with the help of message output type and other, output will be triggered. And commerce automation, the module name is called commerce automation. If you go with one more step, even if you have, for example, subcontracting purchase order, consignment, or right, so multi-tier purchase order or forecast collaboration, so if those advanced feature of S4 HANA is coming in of so those collaboration we call Ariba supply chain collaboration. It's a very big and full blown module. Okay, which is having all the commerce automation plus the advanced feature of the collaboration, that is supply chain collaboration. Okay, and there are two more modules which is also a core part of SAP Business Network, that is Ariba Payables. All your banking related, or the basically all the payments related. Okay, so it is a dedicated module called Ariba Payables, and the discount management. Though these two are very less prominent in the industry, but still they do exist. Okay, so this is a core module of SAP Ariba. So let me try to
Manish, one
uh,
question. Mukesh, here.
yeah.
Actually, I just wanted to understand. I know that SAP has too many different modules, right? And Ariba has common modules related to few of the other SAP models. So, what is the actually intention to have this separate Ariba, and then you have, like you said, MM, and then you have S4 HANA and some other. These can actually be done with those modules also, right?
Yeah, that's a good ask for. Again, it's a more of the cloud product coming in, and the UI also takes some time, very for the actual users. Okay, they want very less painful activity, because going in S4 HANA, right, over there, there can be some troublesome, so that require additional, what is it, uh, skill set to learn, right? So even as a end user, you may need to learn as a very depth, right, just to do their basic activity. That is one thing. Okay, and there are many catalog related activity, so we have to understand in a very wide Mukesh, over there. Because why Ariba? First of all, it's a cloud procurement tool, because again, if you go with Oracle and try to compare, okay, so they have their own cloud product for the procurement, right? Similarly, SAP has to have, right, some cloud procurement tool, right, so that the seamless transaction should happen, right, and the UI aesthetic will also look, should be there. Because if you go with the core basic, what is it, S4 HANA, and again, if you just forget about public cloud, apart from public cloud, we have n number of integration issues, right? So there will not be like real time sync happening. So SAP Ariba is a kind of a real time sync is also happening. Plus It depends on the customer how they want to go with the this SAP versus SAP Ariba. Few things are only there, Mukesh. For example, catalog is slightly like, we have OCI, right, in SAP so that configuration is slightly very tedious and cumbersome. The maintenance is also slightly high, right? But for Ariba it is not like that. It is not very what to say very difficult to grasp it. Okay, the integration does not take much like years or years of involvement, years or years of implementation. It can be also rapid deployment may happen within like 4 or 5 months. So everything matters to the customer. You getting a point? Because if you think from the fee oriented or subscription oriented, that is slightly heavier, and Ariba is not that like expensive. There can be n number of reason, Mukesh, you're getting a point. So it is depending on the customer how they want to purchase and how they want to evolve their procurement life space. Because at end of the day, procurement productivity matters. Their plant should run the least effective and like least price as well as the effectiveness should be there. So that is how the uh, I think the CTO basically, like the CXO level people, they will try to go with certain module of Ariba based on the SAP sales team recommendation and their uh, like direct procurement versus indirect procurement, how they want to subscribe for.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
I feel in future it could be a possibility that those other modules might get merged with Ariba, and Ariba can
Yes, that
actually.
is there. That is in the roadmap, correct. But the core configuration of Ariba and the core, what to say, the consulting world still remains intact, because Ariba is again built differently and run differently as of now, like from past 26 or like almost 30 years, right? So everything is not gonna merge, but yeah, core concepts of S4 HANA and this Ariba is still, that is in the roadmap future plan in next gen. Okay, many new things is also coming in. Intake management is coming in. So there are many things. Category management is coming in.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, no worries. So moving on, this is a kind of the same, what we discussed. So here the only difference, what I'm trying to, pitch over here is that the phase one of SAP Ariba network was, like during 1996 to 2012. Okay, so that time the independent B2B marketplace connecting all buyer and supplier was there. Okay, so earlier the logo of Ariba looks very different. Okay, and then the phase 2 or the phase 2 era was like 2012 to 2021. So here the integration with SAP ERP and the expansion of the all the procurement capabilities was happening. Earlier Ariba used to interact with like all the different, still it is still you can have different ERP, for example Oracle or JD Edwards, right? So there are different ERP, PeopleSoft, right? So Ariba used to interact with those as well. But as it is getting natively purely, all the S4 HANA is the backend, or you can say the ERP integration is happening on the SAP modules, okay, or SAP S4 HANA in short. Okay, coming to the phase 3, like as a business network on 2021 present. So as I mentioned earlier, right, so unified platform including logistic business network, asset intelligence business network, and supply chain collaboration, all three got merged and it is SAP business network we call. So there's a new logo or the new in the reach and feel of the SAP business network. This is how it is now coming up. So needless to say, it is like continuous innovation is there, and like AI powered things are coming up. Okay, so any new vendor which is actually getting onboarded, okay, after 2020, sorry, after this January 2026, so they are automatically migrated to the new platform of BTP. Okay, so earlier there was a separate platform, but new vendors are getting automatically onboarded to the next gen or the BTP platform, right? So let's take one more, like deep dive of the core module. So what is SAP Ariba sourcing? So first of all, the sourcing word, I think you should understand first. So anything, where it's a kind of a process for whom you want to procure something to build. Before procuring something, you should have a proper strategy. If you want to purchase a laptop, for example, right, you will have to know what is your configuration, what is your requirement, right? So if you are a coder, right, if you need certain like a ram, right, or if you need the hard disk, right, so those are the core requirement you should be entertaining, right? And then you should look in the different market, maybe offline or online, right? So you will try to visit different website, right? Similarly, now think, if your procurement team or if your business team want to procure certain goods or material to run their plant or their machinery, okay, so they need to know which vendors are in the market, right? So they can float an RFI. Okay, RFI is for the all the, like, request for information, all the information seeking capacity. And then we'll move to RFP, request for proposal or request for pricing. So RFI, the difference between RFI and RFP, you can think is that only, like, one is more oriented towards the price collection from them, from the vendors or the like suppliers. But for RFI, like, business is more interested on the information. Information can be very length and breadth, including their certification, right, including their existing, like, how many plants they are having, how many employees they are. So there can be n number of things. Okay, so those can be conducted, or those management activities can be conducted on Ariba sourcing. Similarly for auction, right, if it's the government organization, right, or government based organization, so they want to float an auction, right, for any of the material. So they can, they can, we call e-tender or auction, you can think of. So those also can be coming, and Ariba sourcing can be utilized for that. And again, supplier evaluation is there. You want to rate some supplier based on the response, so we can have supplier evaluation as well. Okay, and then happens the contract negotiation. So this is nothing but the same SAP Ariba contract, a different module, where your end-to-end contract, for example, after you finalized your RFP, you awarded something to your supplier, you should have a legal binding document, right? All your clauses, your technical team clauses, your legal team clauses should be there, right? So whatever is required as a like contract compliance life cycle management, right, everything can be dealt in the contract authoring. Contract authoring is nothing but the start cycle, the initial cycle of the drafting a contract. Okay, so there can be n number of negotiation, there can be n number of, uh, back and forth conversation happening between you and supplier. So you can review, and suppose you are not accepting certain clause of a vendor, or vendor cannot accept certain clause of you, so those negotiation, Ariba gives a platform to do that. Okay, and similarly, if any contract is getting, for example, expired, so those renewal management, instead of creating brand new contract, you can extend, or you can, renew the contract. During renewal of contract, if you want to run the whole cycle or few cycles only with supplier, you can do that. Okay, and the clause libraries are also there, a repo kind of thing for the previous contract, they can repurpose for creating a brand new contract. If I move to the next module, then procure to pay, many of you are aware, right? So for BNI, we called Ariba BNI, buying and invoicing, or simply Ariba procurement. So here all your, like, all the procurement activity related, for example, starting with the purchase requisitioning, okay, and then purchase order. So Ariba has a concept, everything first and foremost is the PR. A PR needs to be created, and then only the purchase order can be going in intake. Okay, so purchase orders are not directly getting created in Ariba. First and foremost is the requisition. So those things, right, and even the catalog management, the static catalog or the punch out catalog. Okay, if you want to procure certain thing on a pre and, like, on the whatever the static data, for example, price is pre-negotiated between you and your strategy team. Okay, so if they want to create, or if the end user want to procure something based on catalog, okay, so they also can do so. So there can be multiple or innumerous type of catalog, so which is we call static catalog or punch out catalogs. Okay, straight away you can navigate to the supplier website, and there also you can procure within the Ariba landscape or Ariba ecosystem. Okay, we have guided buying. It is a less like cumbersome UI, and very user friendly UI you can think of for the guided buying, and few of the configuration are driven straight away from BNI. This is advanced, sorry, this is one of the basic and very like thin layer of in the UI you can think of. So your end user can also go and perform the P2P process in GB, we call guided buying. Okay, if I move to the supplier onboarding, you must be aware, right? In S4 HANA, we have BP, business partner concept. Okay, business partner is a kind of the centralized, earlier they used to have vendor separate, customer separate, right? So now it's a unified platform in S4 HANA. So onboarding a vendor or onboarding a business partner as a vendor role, that integration and that particular mechanism can be accommodated with SLP, supplier lifecycle management. Okay, all of your onboarding process, for example, creation of a vendor we called supplier request, and then supplier registration, and then if you want to qualify a vendor, supplier qualification. Okay, so similarly if you want to disqualify a vendor based on certain parameter, obviously, so those activity can be performed in SLP. Okay, so we can track the performance, we can do the compliance tracking, because at end of the day, all like relationship also matter with your vendor. It is not always the cheapest price, okay, which is excelling in business, right? You know, right, as how today's world geopolitics is evolving, right? So few vendors are getting very much impacted with ongoing conflict, right, in the Middle East, you can think of, right? So supply chain disruptions is a very real time, right? So we cannot predict the future, right? So we have to have some proper risk assessment and mitigation plan, right? So if you want to have proper supplier onboarding and their dashboard mechanism in your own way of looking perspective, so that you can take the decision very decisive manner, your strategy team can take. So usually the customer will try to opt SLP for like 360 profile of a vendor. So if any risk is there with that vendor, that can be intimated by the system automatically. Okay, so that is how SAP Ariba life cycle or supplier life cycle management is governing. If I move to slide to advanced module, okay,
I think, sorry to interrupt you, Manish.
yeah,
Somebody is having, Mariam, you are having any question? You raise your hand. You can unmute yourself and ask if you have any questions, Mariam. Because I can see you have raised your hand.
Yes, one question was that if like a PR is created, so the PO is automatically created in SAP Ariba, or it depends
yeah,
on the configuration.
yeah, based on your how the designing is happening. If a PR is getting created, okay, based on your S4 HANA, it can be automatically created. The PO number will be coming back, the number will be pulled back to like SAP Ariba as a purchase order. So there is no manual intervention for the PO creation. So the moment PR is properly approved after submission, a PO usually gets created by the system.
Okay, and for the standing orders, how is the PO created?
Standing order, right?
Yes.
So what is the definition of standing order in your perspective?
Yeah, for all the like recurring purchases.
Recurring purchases, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we can have those functionality, but again it totally depends on the design. Okay, how S4 HANA or the standing order you can think of. So it depends on the depth we can see. So but again, if you want a recurring PR to be created, I think we can have some mechanism to do that as well.
Yeah, so we can have a standing PR with like start date and end date and limit defined.
Yeah, I think
Like,
service PO, if you're looking for, right, start date and end date, right? If you are looking for that, so definitely Ariba do support the service purchase order as well. For that, a service entry sheet is required, not a GR.
yeah, okay.
Okay, okay. So let's move on to a slightly advanced module, which we call spend analysis. Okay, it's a pure data driven spending insights. Ariba will try to give you all the spend visibility or the category analysis. Okay, the savings opportunity or the compliance reporting. So those are involved in the Ariba spend analysis. If I move to the SAP Ariba discount management, based on your payment term or early payment optimization, we can have like dynamic discounting or the any working capital optimization or the supplier financial thing, or the cash flow improvement. So those are dealt in the discount management. Okay, so though these two are slightly less prominent, very few customer has opted for, but yeah, so they are still, these modules are still relevant. Moving on, SAP Ariba supply chain collaboration. Just think from your direct procurement or like direct material procurement you can think of. So real time supplier collaboration. Earlier, any inventory visibility. For example, it's a managed inventory, right, from your vendor or from your buyer end. For subcontracting purchase order, like subcon, you can think of, right. So for example, I want to manufacture a car. Okay, I am a very big organization. So usually I'm not able to manufacture the tire. I may not be able to manufacture the what to say, the seat or the leather activity, right? The dashboard. So those are outsourced, right? So everything is getting assembled at my warehouse or getting assembled at my plant, right? So those are subcontracts. So inventory should be managed, right? Because if at my plant, if there are 20 cars which needs to be produced in a single 1 hour, so I need the inventory, and that rapid inventory, like management should also be there. So S4 HANA is your inventory keeping repository, right, as a system. So those data should be going back to the supplier. So it should be a real time or next to real time, right? So there we have supply chain collaboration kicking in. Similarly, if same purchase order needs to go to multiple vendor, we have multi-tier purchase order concept. Okay, so that is how it is, unfolding, and the demand management or the forecast sharing will happen over here. So this we call SAP Ariba supply chain collaboration. Okay. In SAP Business Network, we have, like, it's a single, largest B2B network, as I mentioned. So SAP Business Network will get involved, like for each and every transaction which is happening between buyer and supplier. Okay, so this is slightly a very comprehensive, diagram for integration point of view. We called cloud integration gateway. So it is a slightly technical, as I mentioned, right? So if you see the extreme left portion, we have buyer system. In SAP, from buyer, they may have S4 HANA or SAP, any ERP system you can think of. Okay, so we have additional add-on. Okay, add-on installation will happen. For example, extra set of class, table, or program will be ingested in S4 HANA. As a basis, will try to download the extra add-on feature over here, and then we have Ariba totally getting installed in SAP S4 HANA as an add-on. Okay, if you see the right hand portion, the supplier may have any of the existing landscape. Okay, it may or may not be SAP, it may or may not be, like normal integration mechanism. As of now, this standard interfaces are supported between supplier Ariba network and the CIG. Okay, EDI are there, or any CXMLs are also there. Okay, so if you see the middle portion, this we call CIG. CIG is a dedicated middleware, okay, to connect between your buyer system and supplier system. In fact, it is also a middleware which is used for your buyer Ariba network and supplier Ariba network. and all the upstream and downstream, those are also, the data exchange is also happening via CIG only, Cloud Integration Gateway. Now the renaming of CIG is happened like few years back, Managed Gateway for Spend and Network. So this is the new name. Sometime I may use CIG, sometime I may use Managed Gateway for Spend and Network. Okay, very recently this naming has been uh, rebranded. Instead of CIG, they are calling Managed Gateway for Spend and Network now. Okay. For CAG, it's a kind of like, like all the connectivity part, it's a one click deployment. It's a kind of, what to say, if you want to play with the data, for example, data mapping, or right, if you want to hold the data for some, all the transaction tracker monitoring, like which data has been passed from one system to another system, those visibility will be tracked in CAG. Okay. Now, let's move on to why SAP Ariba. Okay, so obviously, this is more of the, why we choose SAP Ariba for your career. First and foremost, the high demand career path. So if I take the few latest data, right? So on an average for Ariba consultant, year on year, increase in the job posting is 15 to 20%. And obviously the increased salary, uh, depending on the experience, it depends, and the salary wise also, it is a very demanding and it's a niche skill. Future proof technology, as it's a cloud based platform, and even next gen is coming in, right? Ariba next gen is coming in. So integration with like all the artificial intelligence, machine learning capacities are coming in. Okay, so it's a future proof technology as well. But as a core Ariba consultant, you still needs to have your procurement basics cleared. It is not the coding you have to do over here, no. It is more of the configuration driven, parameter driven, or template driven configuration. And very few, I will not rule out the pure coding thing, but there are few things in CAG, or certain technical aspect you should be aware of, how to read the basic, CXML tag, because for troubleshooting it may be required, it will be useful for you. So it's a mixed bag of everything, but primarily like 90% it is configuration driven. Again, coming to the next gen, it is more of a drag and drop also is there. Okay, there is no T code concept over here in Ariba. Okay, everything is navigation based. Okay, so coming back to this particular agenda, like, multiple career tracks are there. For example, you can be a functional consultant, you can be a technical consultant if you're only a CAG guy, or if you know like all and every few more modules of SAP Ariba, you can be architect level as well. Okay, and different project manager roles are also available for this track. Global opportunities are there because you name any organization within Fortune 500 company, they must be having at least Ariba, okay, or some procurement tool where Ariba is getting somehow getting, established. If it's a SAP S4 HANA, so eventually at the end of the day, they are ideally in a process of migration to SAP Ariba, or they must be on SAP Ariba. That is a thumb rule, what I have seen as of now. Okay, so needless to say, it depends on how your company is offering. It can be a remote work option or international project exposure as well. Okay, so moving on, SAP Ariba versus competitors. Okay, first, we are trying to, a competitor usually of SAP Ariba is SAP Ariba, Coupa is there, or Oracle Procurement is there. Okay, so obviously there are many more competitor, but these are these more contender you can think of. Okay, if I try to compare between market position, SAP Ariba is a leader over there. Coupa and, other are still as a strong challenger or established player. If I go with the network side, so this is a key differentiator. Like if you see, there are 6 million plus suppliers on the Ariba network. Okay, and on the Coupa it is around 400K, and for Oracle Procurement is still a limited network due to the ecosystem of Oracle. Okay, if I go with the ERP integration, So there is a native S4 HANA or SAP integrations out there. Coupa is also a very good contended over there, multi ERP support, but again customizations are still not ruled out in Coupa. Okay, we need to still have many customization for the connectivity and other aspect. For Oracle procurement, we have native Oracle integrations. For deployment angle, it's a pure cloud SaaS product. Same with Coupa, and same if you go with the Oracle, it is still cloud or on-prem. They can support. If I just try to quickly wrap up, like on the based on job market, so Ariba is one of the highest demand. Coupa is still growing demand, and for Oracle, it's still a moderate demand. AI capabilities, as of now, right, next gen is coming in, so those are very strong core. It is in alignment with SAP Business AI or AI Core Advanced. It is there, and Coupa and Oracle is trying to still match. Like they are also very growing rapidly their products. The key advantage for the Ariba amongst the competitor will be the massive supplier network and deep SAP ecosystem integration. Because for others module, if you try to build and try to go outside of Ariba, it will be slight more challenging because SAP get very easily integrated with like SAP Ariba as a product. Okay, let's take about the future roadmap. Okay, for SAP Ariba, the future roadmap, what do you think is of the next gen SAP Ariba? As per the like official confirmation, quarter one 2026, and it is getting deployed in phases to the existing customer as well as to the new customer. It is getting deployed in the phases. So what is next gen SAP Ariba? First and foremost is the integration. Again, whatever the caveats of integration was with existing product, with CIG and other, that is also getting rolled out. Okay, and now everything is moving to PTP. SAP has their own platform, right, for the infrastructure capacity. They have all the like it's kind of a single ecosystem where different uh, like collection of SAP different modules are there. So from there it is now getting controlled, so that BTP is a serving platform for Ariba as well. Okay, Ariba is more deeply integrated with S4HANA and third party ERP through the open APIs. Now, earlier APIs was there, even in SAP Ariba, we have used APIs n number of time, but was that is slightly restrictive. We cannot just enhance the API as per our will. So now open APIs is also coming in the picture. Okay, so it's a fundamental shift from like transactional procurement tool to a AI native ecosystem, right? So in today's era of AI, right, so we must like actually SAP has ramp up their like portfolio in AI just to stay in the relevant in the market and try to one step ahead of the future, because we cannot just open our SAP, because SAP is having all the business transaction and very sensitive data, so that cannot be simply open to the normal world just like that, right? Because there can be n number of security data breach and there can be some existing disaster can happen, right? You can think of, right? So SAP Ariba is trying to build their own copilot that is already in the market, well established, that is we call Joule. Okay, SAP generative AI copilot is called Joule. So Joule is getting interacted with our Ariba. Okay, so if you want to, for example, smart sourcing, you can think of, so if you want to create a RFP for certain number of good, or you can think of 500 laptop based on our last purchase. So system will try to suggest you which vendor, system will try to create a RFP based on your input as a draft mode, right? So that needs to be reviewed. So it is more of the time, what to say, now the time is getting reduced for the end user so that they can work on the productive, so they do not have to break their head on the system, and they should do the actual activity which needs to be performed by them. Okay. Similarly for the legal reviews. So there can be hundreds and hundreds of contract pages, right, in SAP Ariba. So which think it's a very less risky, or like the system should try to give you instant recommendation that this clause may be a slight non-compliance. Okay, so those things are coming with the Joule as well. Okay, if I go with the new, there is a brand new module which is getting shaped up. Okay, this getting rapidly evolving. Okay, that module is called Ariba Intake Management. Okay, so it's a kind of a process transparency. So we used to call it as a pizza tracker view. For example, you created a product, right? Or you just created a RFP event, right? So, or whatever you can think of, a PR, whatever transaction you can think of. So what is the present status, where it is sitting in? So all that view is getting very nicely oriented in a kind of a like transparent way. So there we have intake management coming in. Okay, if you want any customization to be done, so this is called product called SAP build. That is a no code builder. Okay, so there is no coding. Even as of now there is no coding involved, because any coding, SAP product engineering team, SAP as a owner, the SAP employees themselves, they try to write all the Java code. And SAP Ariba is built on Java first of all, and many other Angular and different backend system. So we have no what to say flexibility to change anything. But again, coming next gen, so we have slightly more capacities giving going to be, we should get okay all the capacities. Apart from that, it will be a drag and drop feature for the workflow and the existing. Okay, now coming back to the cross system logic, it connects all the dots. As of now if you see, if you want to create a purchase acquisition, right, so there is a real time budget check. As of now it is still there. So there are many things, okay, during creation of PR in Ariba, that needs to be validated with your S4 HANA. Okay, so going forward, even for your FI module or the other module, so cross system logics is also getting now getting embedded with each other. Okay, so Ariba is getting more push towards like across what you say, what we just discussed, I think few half an hour back, right? So it is getting more merged towards your S4 HANA eventually. But the existence of Ariba is not totally ruled out. Okay, so Ariba, the core thing and the core like fundamental is still there, and it is already evolving at a very rapid and high pace. Okay, so this is about the future roadmap. Coming to your learning journey, so this is your ultra important slide and for your career path as well. Okay, foundation, what is expected from you. Okay, the very basic and few terminology of the procurement should be good to have. I'm not asking you to come prepared with full knowledge, no. At least some basics of your procurement, what is like purchase requisition, what is purchase order, right? Some basic, what is contract, right? So what is a supplier? So few basic terminology should be made aware with you. And then we'll start with SAP Ariba overview and the architecture details. We'll start with that. Okay. All the navigation and the basic configuration plus advanced, like also we'll try to, capture in the training. Okay. So as a recommendation, as you are aware right now, there are multiple modules of Ariba, right? So as a functional skill, if we deep dive to two or three core modules, that is also getting you, good, career, what to say, career upskilling will happen for you, right? So though I'm gonna give you training for each and every module, okay, but the basic or the for you, you should be well, getting, hands on plus at least for 2 to 3 core module to get the interview crack easily, and to get your career opportunity slightly more it be like, for good for you basically. And the business process configuration, right? So all the configuration which is very deep dive we'll try to understand, and also the real world scenarios and the case studies. Okay, coming to the last leg of the training will be like last few session will be on the integration with S4 HANA. Okay, the try to understand the CIG concept, and everything, right? And reporting and the analytics aspect of the your journey. Okay, and we'll also see a very quick and what to say, the project implementation methodology, basically how a greenfield Ariba projects are getting deployed, right? So those we can also try to see in the training. And very important, the certification. So certification of SAP Ariba is actually getting changed, like from last 2 or 3 months. Okay, earlier it used to be of MCQ based. Okay, there will be like one question for answer, few question may have single and like answer, or few may have MCQ. But right now there is a shift happening, so it is more about the AI. Okay, so your AI will try to give you a real time scenario based question, or the like system based question, you need to answer that. And then it's more about the hands on of the, however you have the hands on the Ariba system, then it will be easy for you to get a certification, and as a certified consultant you can put in your CV and try to explain during the interview. Okay, and apart from that, I think Iraj, you can correct me if I'm wrong, so we're also trying to give all the interview preparation and the portfolio building, so we'll try to
Yes.
shape up your.
Hi, Manish.
Yeah,
Thanks for your demo session. This CIG thing, that is basically Ariba network, right?
not Ariba network. It's a kind of a middleware. Okay, where network is also there. If you see in the middle, the
Oh,
network is there. Plus your upstream and downstream, your buying, invoicing, SLP, your S4 HANA, those are getting natively integrated. So it's a middleware. You can think of that.
all
Just
right.
like PIPO, CPI, you might be aware, right? PIPO.
Yeah, CPI, I'm aware of that, but this is like middleware specific to SAP Ariba only, right?
Exactly, exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
okay, okay.
Even for
And
field glass, it can be used. Okay.
I see. And also, you talked about, those AI features. Are those, hosted inside the Saudi network in the KSA?
Okay, so this we may not deal in this training as such, because it is still getting evolved, because there's no license as of now given to any of the vendor as of now. Having said that, King Saudi Arabia data realm. Okay, you if you want to ask that, right? I
Mhm.
believe it is still to be deployed, because it is still Q1, right? We are still in the Q1, right? So there is no visibility as of now. But your CIG data realm was present in KSA, King Saudi Arabia data realm, which I'm aware of. Okay, but next gen or the future, the future roadmap, how many data center will be there? That is still needs to be, we need to check with SAP, because SAP has not yet released the full blown roadmap as of now.
All right. Okay.
think
Okay. Thank
I
you.
think
Thank
Manish,
you.
as I am having the information, that is a long way to go still. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, you are right, Adnan. Like whichever the new developments are going, definitely those are going to be part of Middle East as well as MENA region. Okay, and indeed, I can say SAP is pushing the developing countries. Okay, you see the licensing part. If you are seeing in Mexico and Middle East, MENA region, and even Southeast Asia region like Vietnam, Thailand, and all those. So they are giving very good advantage to them in terms of licensing. Am I right, Manish? So whichever the
yeah.
new products are they are coming up, they are pushing to the developing countries rather than developed countries. I can say, yeah. So that is a part of this going to be definitely for KSA going forward. Adnan,
All right. Okay. Thank you. Thanks for your response.
most welcome.
Yeah.
And Mariam was also having some question. I guess like she was raising the hand.
Yes, hi Manish, thank you for the session. One more
Yeah.
question. You were talking about the often like real budgeting check in Ariba. So
Yeah.
can you please like elaborate it more, like a little bit of more explanation?
Sorry, the last line, can you repeat? Your voice very, very low.
Yes, can you please give me a little bit of more explanation on the real budget check in SAP Ariba?
Yeah, so if you want the configuration wise, we can obviously deal at a later, but very quick overview. Like we have like web services. right, for real time budget check. So what, for example, we have some project or like capital budget, okay, of your PP or PM module of SAP, right? So there usually there is a certain budget allocated for certain, for example, 1 year or 6 month. So your PR is getting created based on that budget. Usually, right, PR is getting created on a cost center, right, on a asset or as a project. So
Yes.
whenever you try to select a project, okay, so there is a web services getting called. CAG is
Yes.
obviously getting involved, okay, as a direct connectivity you can think of. So that's a pass through, by the way. The moment a PR is getting created in S4 HANA, immediate whatever the budget is allocated, that is checked. For example, budget allocated was 100K, but your
Yes.
PR is beyond 100K. So Ariba will try to stop you that hey, you cannot create a PR, you cannot submit a PR because it is going beyond the budget which we are tied with. Okay, so we
Okay.
have some web services as a configuration where we need to enable certain tasks, as well as in the S4 HANA we have real-time budget check in the CIG module piece, the SPRO configuration, where we can do this and achieve this functionality.
Okay. Thank you so much, Manish.
Yeah. Okay.
Manish,
So yeah, go ahead.
is it complete or some are rest? Some
Yeah, it is still there. It is still there. Few slides are there.
okay. No, no. I have two, three questions. So you can complete. Then after I'll ask you.
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
Okay.
Okay, coming to the delivery methodology. If it's a greenfield implementation, a brand new Ariba implementation, okay, this is a tentative, by the way. It depends on your present organization plus your business. Okay, usually what is gonna happen? The phase wise, discover is one phase, prepare is one of the phase, explore, realize, deploy, and run. So this is Ariba is following the activate methodology. Earlier we used to have what you say, the waterfall agile, right? So as for SAP, you might be aware activate is a mixed bag of both waterfall plus agile, right? Everything happens in sprint, right? So we called activate methodology. Even SAP Ariba deployment is on activate methodology. If I go with the discover phase, okay, so that is week minus 8 or week minus 4, right? Whenever you explore or prepare, like the kick start of the project is happening before that minus 8 week or 2 month, you can think of. So that time we should be in a position, meaning business should be in a position to understand the all the solution capabilities, what they want to deploy or what they have subscribed already. Because coming in and then to try to purchase a license is not where Ariba comes. Okay, as a SI partner, all of you will be called SI partner. Okay, system integrator you can think of. So you are not decision maker. Basically business is a decision maker, so they should have all the license, everything in place of SAP Ariba. Okay, so then they have to, you have to work closely with them, your business counterpart, to identify the business value or the plan project execution. So your PMO or like your project manager, right, your program manager will get involved heavily in discover phase actually. Okay, so if I go with the prepare phase, here the initial project planning and execution is trying to shape up all of your, like next 25 week, for example, what will be the plan, right? When you will trying to go live. So we'll go with the backward calculation. Okay, for example, after 25 week or after 24 week, we have a go live. So we'll try to, backward the calculation and try to give a project planning tentative. So this time your project team will get assigned. Okay, and a very clear goal and very clear scope of the project needs to be assigned, or try to prepare that. All the requirement should be drafted in a well documented Excel, Word, whatever, right? It can be a Jira ticket or whatever. So irrespective of that, the goals and the requirement gathering session will get kick started in the explore phase. Here your infrastructure or the connectivity team will get parallelly involved, okay, for the connection establishment between the development or the sandbox of S4 HANA. Okay, and then we will conduct the all the workshop session, business workshop session with the uh, for example, for BNI or for SLP, right, we have a dedicated Excel sheet given by SAP Ariba. Okay, so that workshop session will be conducted and provided to the business. Okay, all the requirement gathering will happen over here. Okay, so this is also a phase where your supplier outreach. So business should parallelly work with SAP counterpart that how many suppliers should be onboarded, because it's a change management for them, right? So they are migrating from one legacy system or legacy process to a new process called SAP Ariba, right? So there should be a change management as well. In the realize or the build, after you sign off all the requirement, right, if everything is done, so then the actual consultant like you in the future will try to build the system and test. The unit testing may happen, SIT will be happening, like system integration testing, regression testing will happen, or finally the user acceptance testing we called UAT. So that will also take up over here. Okay. Apart from that, we have a concept of train the trainer concept. Okay. So usually the core member who are part of business may not be all your end user. For example, there are 20,000 employees. So obviously you are not alone responsible for training all 20,000. So there is a concept of train the trainer. So whoever the core member, maybe 11, 12 people, or maybe in single digit people. So we will impart the training only to those. What is RCP Ariba, right? Where to navigate as an end user. We'll give all the KT, and there we will have UAT everything. So this is what the realize phase is all about, and then deploy. So this is your actual go live in like a week, or go live month you can think of. So there, based on the complexity of the project, it may cutover may go somewhere between 1 week to 2 week. System may not be down for 1 or 2 week your production, but your technical go live or technical cutover will be coming close to 1 or 2 week. Depends on the heaviness or the complexities. Okay, and then finally go live will happen. Your smoke testing, your penny flip testing will happen, and then run phase is getting started. The run phase is like all the transaction whatever is happening, so that monitor should be there, right? If any defect is identified, immediately we have to close the loop and involve SAP if it's a genuine defect, right? So this is how a activate methodology works upon. If I just give you like more more timeline perspective. So this is just a tentative, by the way, for the prep and for the explore. Okay, so these two phases you can think like, if I start my project at, for example, 15th March, so that we consider as a zero. Okay, before that we should have like close to -8, like preparation prep phase, and the explore or design phase will also be there. Okay, if I consider the build or the sprint or the designing phase, right? So it will be consisting of your all like up till 24 weeks you can think of, or only design phase is up till 14 week. Okay, so here if you very clearly observe, there is a dedicated shared services involvement. So these are the SAP Ariba employee or a dedicated SAP Ariba team who will try to closely work with you. Okay, usually in the greenfield implementation project, SAP Ariba shared services will be given. If it's a SLP, for example, supplier lifecycle performance, 14 plus 2, that is the normal timeline. So if you want to utilize SAP shared services only for certain duration of week, and you can pause it as well based on the SOW between like SAP and the customer. So it is their affair, right? So they should be properly have proper SOW, right? So they will charge to customer. It is not like SI will get involved with shared services. Okay, as a SI, you need to closely work with SAP Ariba team as well for the initial deployment for the brand new or the greenfield implementation project. As we move on, after the build and then the testing phase will be appearing, and then the cutover and the go live is actually happening, and then hypercare. Okay, so this is a very tentative project timeline for you know Ariba project. Moving on to the Ariba process flow. Okay, so if I start with our source to contract, okay, so we have to define, so it is just the very high level process flow, right? End to end you can think of, right? So where your spend analytics comes in, right? Or all of your procurement related activity. So it's a comprehensive view for sourcing and contract. So what is the expectation from the business, or what is the goal, or what is the significance they are going to achieve, right? So there should be a clear and definite strategy for the category. Okay, and then if you, they should be aware that what they want to go for procurement related activity, what is the material, what is the services, right? Identify a potential clause for which a procurement related activity is must. So this is required from the business. Okay, so after they, if you see very clearly, if so this is your SLP module. Okay, so this is your sourcing module. Okay, so now negotiate and manage contract with trading partners. So obviously we have to negotiate, like business has to negotiate on the counter, on the contracts, right? So those are called managing the contract with the trading partner. Trading partner is nothing but the supplier or the vendor. There is additional piece called plan and forecast. As I mentioned, right, all the forecast, for example, in next 3 months, I'm expecting, boom in my consumption of the goods. So there can be proper forecast collaboration, though it's a part of supply chain collaboration. So it is a plan and forecast demand of goods, services, and resources can be intimated to the vendors. Okay, and then your procurement related activities can kick in, like initiate a PR or initiate a request for purchasing goods and services, and then execute the orders based on your S4 HANA configuration or the design. A PO will be getting created and the vendor will get intimated. So they will try to confirm first, or they can straight away deliver, and the receiving of the goods receipt will happen in the buying system. Okay, so again, once they have delivered everything, so obviously invoice should be raised, right? The invoicing mechanism, invoice and pay mechanism, is again dependent on n number of configuration based on your finance team or FICO module you can think of. One very quick example is a payment term, like for example N030 for 30 days. If the payment is made beforehand, so there will be some rate of the discount. Okay, for example 5% if you pay, if deliver the things within that, the invoice is raised. So that is how the payment terms kick in. Okay, similarly we have also in Ariba, payment terms are very important over here. All the payment related activity will be generated, and vendor will get notified that when they are gonna get paid, and even the status of the payment, like if it is paying or paid, right? So this is a henceforth, I just mentioned you about the trading partner collaboration as well. All the configuration on SAP Business Network we call transaction rule or business rules. Okay, so all your CIG configuration, if you want, for example, those are governed in CIG. If any rules or setting is for SAP Business Network, we call default transaction rule, that will be governed in the buyer Ariba network. Okay, so each system has their own set of configuration in short. So if I go with like more of the process flow oriented approach, okay, so let me bifurcate. This is one of the important slide where I try to cover each and every module, though it is not very straightforward, because each module takes time, even in my training as well as in your real world scenario. Okay, but just think ERP is nothing but your S4 HANA. The first and foremost in Ariba SLP, whatever if you see like light orange color, so SLP is there. Vendor registration, your supplier request or supplier registration takes initiated from here, and all the approval workflow will be initiated in the Ariba SLP system, Ariba Upstream you can say that. If everything is perfect, For example, supplier, they have responded on the registration and they are registered vendor. So based on the configuration, that data will flow to your S4HANA and vendor master get created, your BP gets created, business partner gets created. Okay, so this is your SLP very high level. Again, there can be any number of uh, many things are not given in this slide because of the because in one slide I cannot capture each and everything, right? So SLP you can think of, so this one leg. Okay, so if I start with the yellow portion, SAP Ariba sourcing. So your supplier request can be a standalone. It can be initiated directly from your upstream or SAP Ariba sourcing system, and it can be gone through the supplier for the negotiation part. So they will try to respond on the like all the RFP over here. Okay, the code comparison and the approval will happen, and the awarding will happen in the sourcing system you can think of. So after this, there are two mechanisms. Either you create a contract or straight away you create a what is it, the purchase order based on the PR. Okay, or based on certain approval, you can straight away create a purchase order, and that purchase order copy will be sent to the S4HANA as well. Okay, or you can bypass the whole RFP straight away. S4HANA will try to create a purchase order from the SAP Ariba sourcing module. If I follow the dark blue color, the create contract. So this is your contract module coming in. You create a contract, you negotiate over here everything, and then publish the contract. Okay. After publishing of contracts, again, you can create the catalog with help of contract compliance. Okay. So this is a handshake between upstream and downstream. Okay. And then this is one of the way. The other way is ideally directly create a PO or outline agreement and send to S4 HANA system, the ERP system. Okay, so this is the contract module you can think of. If I go to the light blue or sky color, okay, so here Ariba catalog is a standalone system you can think of. So where you're whenever you create a purchase requisition, it can be a catalog or non-catalog. Okay, so if it's a catalog based, okay, so you can create a purchase requisition, you can give your Ariba catalog over there. Okay, and then when again, how a catalog can be coming in from directly to the vendor. There are two kinds of catalog usually, the static and punch out. So supplier will also try to give their catalog right to the system, so that will be coming from SAP business network. Okay, and then the catalog, with the help of catalog, we can create a purchase requisition if there is any approval workflow. For example, if you see the last arrow, so if there is any purchase requisition approval flow is there, if it is fully approved, then a purchase order is automatically getting created in the system. There can be multiple ways. Directly PO will be get created in BNI, or a purchase order copy will first go to S4 HANA. A number will be coming back to the like 4 5 series or 8 series, whatever the number range. That number will be pulled back to the BNI. Okay, so that we call purchase order copy or purchase order creation directly, or a kind of a replication is happening in the S4 HANA. And if I go to the slightly right hand portion, okay, so here purchase order is getting transmitted to the SAP buyer network as a purchase order copy. Okay, the green portion standalone we can think of commerce automation, but just for right now just focus on BNI. So this purchase order copy can be transmitted to the network, to the vendor. They can view the purchase order and then they can create a order confirmation. Order confirmation will arrive in the BNI system. We call it order acknowledgement. Similarly, once order is getting shipped, vendor can create a advance ship notice. Okay, that we called inbound delivery or service entry sheet for the service purchase order. Okay, for service purchase order, this is the exact opposite. For example, GR, goods receipt, right? Similarly, service entry sheet is for the service purchase order. So that will travel from your BNI to SAP business network. Okay. And for the invoices, so invoices can be created from directly from the vendor, or you also have opportunity like your AP team can also create. If they are having BNI module, they can also create in BNI straightforward if they have received the offline copy of the invoice. Okay. And then the fully payment again, a GR copy, I just forget it out for like delivery or the goods receipt, that copy will be going back to the ERP system. If that is like configuration or a design, that also can go back. Apart from there, we have invoice approval and OK to pay, like fully approved payment, F110 or the payment cycle will happening. Then remittance advice IDOCs will be triggered, and remittance advice detail will be visible to the SAP Business Network supplier end. So this is a very comprehensive view of all the module. Any doubt as of now? If not, let's try to on the master data for public cloud. I try to give you on the master data sync up how it is happening. If as of now Ariba also gets interacted with S4 HANA public cloud edition, so there is a concept called MDI, master data integration. There the CAG will get involved, and all the data which is residing in public cloud, so that will get first replicated in MDI. And MDI is a housekeeping like or kind of the repository of all the master data, which will be distributed amongst different SAP Ariba solution, that is Ariba sourcing contract or BNI. Okay. So this is how the master data integration also comes in the picture. Okay. So if there is no question and answer, I believe I wanted to show you one more exact system, okay, of SAP Ariba. So this is a dashboard how it looks like. Okay, so you should have your URL with you, and if it's not a single sign-on, so you should have the user ID and password. Okay, then we can log into Ariba dashboard. So this is a what you say, the URL will be given to you by your your sponsor of the project of the business counterpart. The moment I click on sign in, so this is a dashboard. Okay, for example, if I go again, this is a test system, so it can be slightly slower than usual, and that it can be slightly heavy because of many trainees and trainers are there, right? So they can parallelly work. So again, for home page or the dashboard looks like this. There will be a logo, and for test site we have an indication for the test like test site. Okay, each of your profile will have their small dashboard. They can play with their preferences, they can change password and whatever you can think of as a cloud product. So these are already there. Apart from that, if you want to create any transaction, for example supplier, if you want to onboard a vendor, so though you have an option for supplier request. If you want to create a contract, you can create a contract workspace. Okay, if you want to create a sourcing project, you can create it from here. Every single thing is driven on a role. If the role is not assigned to you, then this menu will be slightly shorter. Okay, and each module you can think of have their own UI navigation. For example, if I click on more, if you just want to focus on sourcing, you can click on sourcing. If you just want to focus on contract, you can go over there. Again, similarly, if you just focus on the supplier supplier SLP, we have supplier management. Okay, so this is a search bar, which is a again centralized search bar. You can search like as per your requirement. You can search, you can change the filter and try to search based on title or ID. Okay, and these are the small tiles. Again, this everything is configurable at each user level, as well as the whole like the whole site level. If I go to that my document, like how many document this person which has logged in presently, how many document is tied with that particular person, so that is present over here. Okay, so similarly, like how many a kind of a, for example, for in the month of March, how many approval flows are there, which is pending or which has elapsed, overdue, right? So those data will be visible over here, which needs review or which needs my attention, for example, to do task. So those all data will be visible over here. Okay, so this is how the Ariba dashboard usually looks like. For upstream, the differentiation is this: the sourcing. If you want to perform any downstream, for example, any procurement related activity, usually that site is hosted in the child. We have a parent and child concept. Okay, parent is hosting the sourcing or the upstream, and the child is hosting the downstream area. Okay, so we have to switch the website. We can click on this global icon and try to switch. If you see here, the URL got changed to buyer, and this is slightly different. So here all of your procurement related activities will be visible, all your PR, right? All of your goods receipt or invoices, so those will be visible over here. Okay, so this is the two system. The third system is called buyer.ariba.com. So this is the SAP business network. So again, this is a dedicated, a different URL is there for this. So this system and this system both are totally different. Okay, so this is what I'm presently logging. It is called SAP business network. Okay, here also, if SSO is not there, then user ID and password is required. So this is a dashboard of the SAP business network. Buyer buyer will have their own credential, supplier will have their own credential, their own account. And needless to say that other party cannot have their credential exchange. So that is actually a security breach. So everybody will have their own credential. Supplier will not see the dashboard of buyer straight away, and buyer cannot see the dashboard of supplier straight away. But the transaction which is flowing from here and there, everything will be visible to each other. Okay, so here, for example, this is a dashboard how it looks like. So based on the role and setting, for example, you can have additional role. So this setting menu will appearing. So all the configuration, everything will be driven under setting. Okay. So unique Ariba network ID is granted the moment you have your account created. So this unique ID will be usually get granted. Okay. This is always unique and a differentiator on Ariba network. So in this platform, IT team or the buyer can come and check the purchase order, okay, from here, either from orders or the workbench or directly clicking over here. Okay, so if I scroll down, so how many purchase order till date for which fiscal year, how, what is the quick like analysis also system is trying to give you. All the invoices related information, those are also getting visible over here. How many vendors are there, total vendors enablement. Okay, like how many waves, in which wave which vendor was there. So the present status of the vendor enablement, everything is visible over here. Okay, so let me try to quickly show you one purchase order, how it looks on the Ariba network buyer. This is a PO, like which is a supplier, which is the amount, date, everything, right? What is the order status. So this is how a purchase order looks like. PO number will be there, right? From to everything will be visible. Okay, what are the line item? So this is how a purchase order will be visible in the buyer. The exact same replica will go to the supplier as well on the Ariba network. Okay, so this was a quick, and what I wanted to cover for today. as a on the demo portion. I have so do let me know, like team, uh, what is your doubt, concern? Let me know.
Over 10 years working in same procurement department and working with sourcing, tendering, invoicing, PR creation, and commerce automation and invoice related
Mhm.
uh, all procedures. But is this only user department?
You as
So
an end
how can
user.
end
Mhm.
user only
Yep.
buyer? I am a buyer only.
Yep.
So, and I'm not satisfied with the career journey in current time. So, I want to next step of our career journey in Ariba field. So, we can work with airport, not only airport. Next in seaport also, inventory related all procedures are important in the global era. So how can switch on Ariba field?
Yeah, Naveen. So that's a good question for you, because you are from the business end user perspective, right? So
Yes.
definitely the configuration and the other aspect, if you learn, okay, so you have a greater potential to excel in the system, because usually if a fresher, for example, is a college pass out, right, so they will not know the business how it works, because end to end. For example, airport, there will be for example, there is a taxiway, right, there is like overhauling, right? If any
Mm.
machinery is totally not working, right, so that needs to go to the, I believe, if it's a Rolls Royce engine or something, right? So Hungary is one of the place which I know, right? So it depends. So in and out of the business. So you just need the career path, right? For which a configuration related. So you can come and try to give more as a consulting, right? As a consultant, right? So what I would suggest, right? So go and try to deep dive in the configuration, system. And obviously you mentioned commerce automation, so the potential for you is slightly higher. I'm not only like advocating about BNI is not good or bad, but if you use it proper, so you can go and excel in supply chain collaboration as well, because the processes, right, at the ground, right? So for you,
Yes.
I believe the learning path is on more of the configuration related thing, how you know about S4 HANA, what is in the backend gonna happen, right? So then I believe the for you the career path is very looking exciting, because I have seen many customers and my own colleagues, right? They have worked on the ground, maybe in some plant or some manufacturing department for quite a number of years, like 5 6, and they switch to the consulting world.
I have both experience manufacturing and services, airport
Hmm.
services,
Hmm.
cargo related, all
Yeah,
cargo
cargo.
related
Yeah,
material and services contracts, all there.
yeah,
But
yeah.
totally, there are over 10 years, last May 2014 to till now, I'm working same work over at morning, same PR on working, invoices, tendering,
Yeah, yeah, correct. I get your point. I get your frustration as well, Naveen. So, repetitive works, is not easy to handle.
that's all same are boring life. Better.
Yeah,
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 technical is better. So I don't know have who's better than me for next career step in journey, and how can work with globally, and how to connect with supply chain. Supply chain is a very big important role
big
in
important. Yeah,
our this field, Ariba.
yeah.
Inventory, logistics, that's are very important field.
Mhm. Yeah, yeah, correct. So supply chain collaboration is one of the module, I would suggest, if you ask me, and BNI, right? I think you are already, working over there. So you can explore few more things, like how suppliers are onboarded, not only on the end user, Naveen. So you can obviously, try to enroll in this, what is it, training. And because I'm not just taking about the end user training, you're getting a point, how to create PRPO. I will be more rather focus on the configuration perspective, how those are driven, how those are, real time it is gonna happen, how customization will be taking into place. how parameter, all those things we are much more trying to give in this training. This is not an end user training, so I think Iraj, if you can also
Yeah, 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 yeah.
टोटली मैं घुमा फिरा के नहीं बोलूंगा ये।
हम्म,
टोटली जो है ना, आज
हम्म,
एआई का
हम्म,
समय आ चुका है ना, तो आज नहीं तो कल हो सकता है कि पीआरपीओ ऑलरेडी हो सकता है कि ये ऑटो जनरेटेड हो जाए या कुछ और लेवल,
yeah,
नेक्स्ट लेवल पे चले जाए, और ये हमारा काम रिमूव हो जाए। तो वो
हो रहा है।
प्रोस्पेक्टिव फ्यूचर प्लान लेके चलना चाहते हैं कि इन केस अगर ये रिमूव हो जाए। अभी आप देख रहे हो कि प्रेजेंटेशन को पायलट से बन जाता है, कोई आप
yes, yes,
पीपीटी
yes.
नहीं बनाता है,
Yeah,
कोई
yes.
प्राइवेट टेबल नहीं बनाता है, ऑलरेडी बन के आ जाता है। तो ये चीजें क्या है ना कि जॉब्स,
हम्म,
मतलब मैन पावर को कम करते जा रहा है, इनफैक्ट देखा जाए तो ये चीजें हो सकता है कि हमारी भी उस चीजों को लेके आ जाए कभी ना कभी एआई की टर्म्स में। तो ये चीजों को हम रिव्यू करना चाहते हैं, और आगे हम नेक्स्ट फील्ड कुछ ऐसा हो जो हमारे लेवल का हो। और
नहीं, देखिए आप जो
मैं
बोल रहे हो
मोटा
ना,
मोटी,
बिल्कुल
अगर
सही बोल
सिंपल
रहे
देखा
हो।
जाए तो ऑल इम्पोर्टेंट्स आर मनी, दैट्स वाई।
No, no, no. You're in a very right direction. What you're thinking, Naveen.
Just I'm
के
investing some money in any other courses, then एक ही एक ही मेन इम्पोर्टेंट होता है कि भाई पैसे कैसे कमाया जाए एक्स्ट्रा।
नहीं, 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 यू आर वेरी राइट। क्योंकि देखिए अभी आप जो है ना, आपके 10 years यू हैव स्पेंड इन हियर, ओके। तो आपको बिजनेस फ्लो, बिजनेस प्रोसेसेस का काफी अच्छे से ज्ञान हो चुका है इसमें। So you see, there are many fields which you can switch it. So after 10 years, it's very difficult decision to switch your career. So that should be switched in a very wiseful fashion. मतलब सोच समझ के जो है ना आपको एग्जिट करना होगा यहाँ पर। तो हम तो यही एडवाइस देंगे आपको कि विच एवर द प्रीवियस एक्सपीरियंस यू आर हैविंग, यू हैव टू इनकैश दोज दैट एक्सपीरियंस एंड चूज ए पर्टिकुलर कैरियर विच इज गोइंग टू इनहेंस। और आपने जो कहा कि एंड यूजर्स का रोल खत्म हो रहा है, वेरी ट्रू। ओके, काफी सारे एंड यूजर्स का भी जो एआई इफेक्ट करेगा, तो दैट इज नॉट इफेक्टिंग द हायर रोल्स बेसिकली। सो दोज आर मेजरली इफेक्टिंग द डे टू डे प्रोसेसेस को जो है ना ऑटोमेट कर देंगे उसमें एआई के थ्रू। तो इवेंचुअली होगा ये ना कि ये जो एंड यूजर्स रोल है ना, सारे सारे तो नहीं कहूंगा, मतलब मोस्ट ऑफ द end users roles are going to be terminated. So that's a very scary thing for every one of us right now in this AI era. So you have a very good understanding and business process knowledge in aviation industry, right? So that is one thing, that's a very good thing. And similarly, if you are talking about ports, in the ports also there are a lot of, I'm talking about seaports, okay. So there are a lot of opportunities are coming in. Even in India also we do have like lot many ports coming up with very new infrastructure. Okay,
सीपोर्ट इज
definitely.
अ वेरी बिग अपकमिंग फील्ड।
बिल्कुल सही कर रहे हो आप, काफी बढ़िया जो है ना हो रहा है, यानी कि इवन लाइक इफ यू आर टॉकिंग अबाउट विशाखापट्टनम, दिस इज वन ऑफ द वेरी बिग डेवलपमेंट्स आर हैपनिंग. इफ यू गो एंड सी ओवर देयर, you will be surprised to see there are so many new technologies, new things are happening over there in Vishakhapatnam. Even data centers are coming over there. So why they are putting the bigger data centers near the port side is like they are having a very big plan going forward. So in short, to map with your previous career, I can say Ariba is going to be one of the best choice for you. Go ahead in this one. So what मैं आपको यही एडवाइस दूंगा कि डोंट फोकस ऑन द एंड यूजर प्रोस्पेक्टिव। आप कंप्लीटली एंड टू एंड अरीबा का जो भी फ्लो रहेगा ना उसको सीख लीजिएगा। then in that one you have to have a command over few modules, like Manish ने जो rightly कहा है आपको कि कॉमर्स ऑटोमेशन इज गोइंग टू बी वन ऑफ द बेस्ट थिंग। क्योंकि कॉमर्स ऑटोमेशन में क्या है ना, अभी रिसोर्सेज काफी कम है, वी हैव वेरी लेस
हाँ,
नंबर ऑफ
पर
रिसोर्स।
मैं काम कर रहा हूँ ना उसमें। अभी जैसे हम लोग जीआर बनाते थे,
जी,
सर्विस एंट्री सीट क्रिएट करते थे, अब उसकी जरूरत नहीं है, ऑटोमेटिक क्रिएट होता है, वो भी वेंडर साइड से हो जाता है, सिर्फ हम रिलीज करते हैं, हमारा कोई भी काम अब उसमें बचा नहीं है
वेरी
कॉमर्स
ट्रू,
ऑटोमेशन में।
very true, very true. Now, commerce automation in the sense I'm talking about configuration level, not the end user level I'm talking about. So you are going to understand the business, and you are going to map those processes, the business requirements with SAP Ariba, and you are going to automate everything using SAP Ariba. That is going to be the role for SAP Ariba consultant going forward. So that's really going to be very helpful for you, Naveen. So what I advise is like I'll be giving my number over here. You can directly call me. I'll give you better advice very specific to your current profile, I can say. Okay, I will guide you in a very better way whether you are going to enroll with us. I always say to everyone, you see, we are here since more than 15 years, serving lot many participants, lot many aspirants who are willing to go into SAP Ariba field or any SAP module. Okay, we have in SAP Ariba alone, we have successfully trained and built the career of almost 6,000 professionals. So that's a very big achievement for us. So आपको बिल्कुल honest advice मिलेगी इसमें. Whether you are going to take the course from us or not, that's a secondary thing. But important for us is like we need to guide you in a very proper way so that your career opportunities are going to be in a right fashion. So that is our main intention. So Naveen, मैं आपको number दे दूंगा. You can call me later on whenever you are free, tomorrow or any time. We'll have a detailed discussion on that one, how to proceed with respect to your career. Okay.
Your name?
Okay, I'm just going to ping my name. Sorry, I think you are in touch with our business relationship executives. So I'm just putting my name and mobile number over here. So +91 840 8878 222. Okay. So I just
Okay.
pinged there. You can check it out.
नहीं, आपने एक वर्ड बोला ना कि आफ्टर 10 years दिस इज अ वेरी टफ डिसीजन. ऐसा नहीं है. मैंने स्टार्टिंग जब किया कॉलेज पास आउट करके ना, तो मेरे पास कोई नॉलेज नहीं था. मैं इंटरव्यू देता था तो उस टाइम यही पूछता था. लास्ट में सब कुछ क्लियर हो गया, लास्ट में पूछता आप सैप पे काम किए? वो सैप समझ में नहीं आता था कि सैप होता क्या है. ये इंटरव्यू देते 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 ना, ये बहुत चीजें आ गई कि हर कोई पूछता है सैप आता है, अब हर कोई पूछता है अरीबा आता है. तो ये चीजें अब 2018 में मैंने ये चीजें कोर्स कंप्लीट मतलब एंटर किया कि भाई ये है क्या. 2019 में मैंने कोर्स में एडमिशन लिया एसएपी एमएम.
जी जी जी.
तो वो टीचर ने, फैकल्टी ने बताया था मुझे कि आप पहले फंक्शनल में आप एंटर करो या फिर एंड यूजर में करो. एंड यूजर सबसे इजी है. एंड यूजर में आप जाओ, एंड यूजर के बाद आपको प्रोसेस समझ में आएगा, फिर कंसल्टेंट में आप एंटर करना. और ये बात बिल्कुल सही है. और उन्होंने ये चीज बोला था कि एंड यूजर्स में आपको आज ये कंफर्म कर रहे हैं कि आज नहीं तो कल कोई भी सप्लायर हो उसको अरीबा पे आना ही पड़ेगा, क्योंकि नहीं आएगा तो उसके लिए बिजनेस लॉस है. और ये अभी करेक्ट बिल्कुल 110% सही है कि जो भी वेंडर्स अरीबा पे नहीं है उसे काम ही नहीं मिलता है.
एग्जैक्टली.
तो आज नहीं तो कल कंसल्टेंट की जरूरत पड़ेगी पड़ेगी, क्योंकि अगर इतने वेंडर्स हैं, इतनी कॉम्पिटिटिव ज्यादा कंपटीशन है कि अगर वो नहीं आएगा तो उसको काम नहीं मिलेगा. काम नहीं मिलेगा तो वो बिजनेस लॉस है ना. तो जब सारे वेंडर्स अगर अरीबा पे आएगा तो प्रॉब्लम भी होगा. वेंडर्स बहुत सारे क्वेश्चन राइज करते हैं कि मेरा ये कॉमर्स ऑटोमेशन में मेरा ये अभी पता नहीं चल रहा है, ये एरर आ रहा है, स्क्रीनशॉट भेजता है मोबाइल पे, व्हाट्सएप पे, मेल पे. वो क्वेरी जितना हो सकता है हम तो सॉर्ट आउट करते हैं, लेकिन हर चीज हम नहीं कर पाते हैं ना, क्योंकि मैं कंसल्टेंट तो हूँ नहीं.
कहने का मतलब ये था ना नवीन के, आफ्टर 10 years, क्योंकि होता ये है ना कि वंस वी आर इनटू एनी जॉब, सो विल गेट यूज टू इट एंड टू जस्ट टू स्विच एज ए ह्यूमन टेंडेंसी. क्या होता है ना, कंफर्ट लेवल पर चले जाते हैं. लेकिन there are few exceptions like you maybe, so it would be easy for you to switch to the newer thing, but most of the people who are there, they are get comfortable used to it, and for them is going to be very difficult to switch to the right career. I'm talking about right career over here. So the thing here is like, if you want to switch to the career, you have to choose which one is the best for you and which should give you the longer sustainability. That is very important. तीन चार चीजों हमको जो है ना ध्यान में रखनी होती है. First, number one is like, whichever the career you are switching at this point of career is like whether it's going to be sustainable for you for a longer run. ऐसा नहीं कि चलो every 3 years आप change कर रहे हो, that's not going to work out. So for Ariba is having a very strong roadmap for the next 10 to 15 years, and going further also, it keep on developing, and you can banking on this particular career. You no need to shift again to something else, some other career perspective is not going to work. That is first thing. The second thing is like, with respect to the monetary things, like आपने कहा कि सबसे important क्या है, पैसा कितना कमाते हो. That is very important. तो
सबसे ज्यादा इम्पोर्टेंट वही है. अगर हम कोर्स में अगर पैसा इन्वेस्ट कर रहे हैं तो फिर हम किस लिए कर रहे हैं? पैसे के लिए कर रहे हैं ना. सारा घुमा फिरा के बात नहीं है, चाहे आप एग्री हो या ना हो. जो भी हमारे इसमें अगर इन्वॉल्व है उसका नेक्स्ट जो हिडन जो टारगेट होगा वो तो पैसा ही होगा ना, कि कैसे पैसा ज्यादा कमाए.
That's what I am saying to you. तो अगर आप कंपेयर करोगे, whenever you are comparing SAP Ariba salaries with SAP MM or any other module salaries, with the same experience, definitely Ariba people are getting more pay than the other their peer modules. Okay, you can check it out. Don't believe my words. You can go and check it in the Naukri or whichever the job portals you are having. You can check it out. So always Ariba consultants will be little higher paid consultants, I can say over here. Or it's the other thing is like the competition is not so heavy right now. There are a lot of requirements are coming in, so it's very easy to get into an Ariba consultant role. End user के लिए तो काफी easy रहेगा अभी तो, but I'm talking about consultant role also to get into are little comparatively very easy. If you are having 5 years of experience, it's very difficult. One application for one job opening, there will be 200 or 300 applications will receive usually. But for Ariba, if one is there, like 50 or 60 applications, good applications will receive it. So that's how the ratio is there. So competition is not that much high compared to here. So Ariba is doing good right now at the moment, and I don't know for how long is going to be. People are learning very fast, and they are getting into the different roles over here, because here in Ariba we have different modules. If you are good at three or two or three modules very strongly, it's very easy for you to get into Ariba. That we have seen before. Okay, yeah, Manish was also saying the same thing, so I appreciate that one. He has given a very right information for that as well. So that's the thing. Okay, so and
I've heard this term called package consultant in Ariba. I mean, how does that exactly come into picture? I mean, package consultants, does that mean both technical and functional consultant roles are combined or something?
Look, it is just the, I know from where you're coming, right? Usually IBM called package consultant. Okay, it's just the
Yeah.
name convention, right? I guess you can just mention, right? Because in any other
yes,
word, it is just the consultant. It can be functional consultant, technical team lead, right? You may have any name as a designation. At end of the day, Brahmand, you have to be a proper Ariba consultant. In short, you know the config, you know the interview, how to crack the interview, the skill. That's it. Irrespective of the label of your designation, it doesn't matter. At end of the day, obviously, I'm sorry to say, the higher the package, the name or the designation may change. But end of the day, if you want to start the career, try to focus on the skill, all the configuration. Don't memorize it. Just at least try to be on the same page. So package consultant is just the word IBM uses. Okay, it is
Okay.
nothing
Okay.
beyond that.
it's a very fancy
No, I
names.
thought it is
Different.
similar. Like, I do have experience in both Ariba and MDG. So I thought in MDG they also have similar name convention. So I thought it is like technical and functional role merged together or something.
JD
Yeah.
matters, Brahman. I think I go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, Manish. So,
No, no, no.
Brahma is, if you're
That,
talking
that's
about
it.
MDG, yeah, if you're talking about MDG, we do have two roles over there. One is functional, another is technical. So we do have ABAPers over there, a little, upper hand whenever we are talking about, technical aspects over there. So usually in MDG, what happens is like if you are a technical person, technical MDG consultant, we call it as like techno-functional, or in short term, you
Mhm.
can say packaged consultant. Okay, so for that they are having very importance over there, because is it you are a technical person, you are going to write the code, you are going to do the configurations, and you are going to do the customizations over there. So customizations is highly valued in other modules in ERP, unlike here in SAP Ariba. This is very important, I'm telling you. Okay, so in Ariba we don't have pure technical role here as such. Okay, we no need to have a configuration aspects. If you are a ABAPer, if you are a technical person, nothing, you are not going to do anything great over here in SAP Ariba, because we are not going to do the enhancements here. As a consultant, nobody, no business partner, I mean to say like implementation partner, is having the right to do the configure enhancements, out of the box changes. Nobody can do it. If at all you required to do any enhancements, you need to raise a okay, enhancement request
Yeah,
to
yeah,
SAP
I mean,
Ariba.
that
You are aware of
directly
those
goes
things,
to
right?
SAP Ariba, the
Yes, they
enhancements
are
and
only,
everything.
exactly. So in short, I can say there is no technical role as such over here. They are saying like package consultant, in the sense they should have a good understanding of integration, okay, and Ariba functional modules. Okay, so they are asking like a functional module guy who is well versed with upstream and downstream also should be gone through at least one implementation cycle of integration. That we call it as a technical consultant, but it's not a pure technical consultant in the sense like if you are taking the role of it. Yeah. So but there are different job aspects will come, and even like nowadays what happen is like project leader or project manager will give some job description to the HR, then HR people will add some more things and made the job description totally look different. So that's how the
Exactly.
things will be happening. You know about the things, what how the things are going on
Yeah,
now.
yeah, I do already know about that. Yeah, thank you for clarifying. I thought it was, mean, most of the time it would be
Yes,
like
yes.
technical and functional role combined. But thank you
Great.
for giving me the clear picture about it. Yeah.
Thank you, Brahma. Okay, yeah. Yeah. So anybody else, guys? So we can have a questions if at all, any sort of questions with respect to Ariba. Okay, great then, guys. So quickly, I'll just show you, Manish, if you can make me the presenter. I'll just show them the what they are getting here. I just want to show the
Manish,
drive. Yeah.
Manish, what is the course duration?
17 session will be there. Okay,
So
weekends.
approximately 45 to 50 hours of sessions we are going to have it, Naveen. 45
Is
to
this
60.
a weekend basis or daily
It's
basis?
only going to be on the weekends because all the working professionals are there. So we are having only on the Saturdays and Sundays. Indian time, if you're talking about 7 p.m. to 9:30 or 10 p.m. IST. So 2.5 hours to 3 hours on Saturday. Same thing is going to be on Sunday. So approximately 45 to 50 hours of training. So that we are covering in approximately eight and a half weekends or 9 weekends, I can say. Yeah.
Okay, and after that, working any license are given by your end or other purchase or sourcing
No,
by
you see,
paid.
like during the training itself, post training also, you can use our server. Okay, the server access what we are having SAP Ariba tenant, you can work on that particular live server. Live server in the sense test system you can work it on. We will be providing three test systems. Like one is like uh, SAP Ariba buying system, we call it as spend management, and another is Ariba network or business network, we call it as. So these two systems along with GB guided buying system also. So three URLs will be having to do the complete hands-on practice, whichever been shown in the during the sessions itself. So you'll be having a detailed understanding how we are going to do it. Like we'll be working on the project scenarios, the same scenarios which are being shown by Manish during the sessions. You can do the hands-on on the system during the weekdays. And if at all you are having any queries between the weekdays also, you can reach me out. I'll be there to help you guys. And sometimes if it is very necessary, then we can connect with Manish during the weekdays as well, if required.
And after course completed, we can practice by paid basis.
Yes, yes,
Your
yes.
server
On
access?
monthly. After that, if how long you want to, because you see, we are having a target of at least 3 to 4 months. I'll just tell you the roadmap. I think you might have missed that one Manish has shown, a very important slide in which like we were showing your learning journey. Okay, in which like the whole complete hands-on training will be given. At the last, we'll be helping you out to build up your resume, and we'll help you out how to apply in the market and what are the processes you need to follow. Every guidance will be given to you, and drive will be shared with every one of you, in which the session recordings will be there, the documents will be there, the certification material will be there. So these three folders will be there with you for lifelong. Okay, in this one we'll be having all the recordings. Okay, whichever the recordings we are having, so all the session recordings we'll be putting it here with the proper naming conventions over here. Okay, so let's say for example, if you are getting a interview in which like the more focus is there in the guided buying. Okay, Ariba catalogs and guided buying, so directly you can jump to session 11 and you can recap the things, and you can go for the interview ready for you. Okay, Ariba contracts. So there are different sessions are catered for these things. So the whole session recordings will be there with you for lifetime. And now the sessions which are going also going to be recorded in the same fashion. Similarly, we do have a lot of documents Okay. Yeah, we can wind up the session for the day, and let's meet the next weekend only. So that's